Welcome to the deep dive. Today, well, we're looking at something quite serious, a stark reminder of nature's power out of eastern Afghanistan, a deadly 6.3 magnitude earthquake. So, for you, our listener, whether you're keeping up with current events or maybe prepping for exams, we want to really dig into this. Not just the headlines, but the critical details, and crucially, why Afghanistan is just so vulnerable to these kinds of events.
Exactly. It's vital to go beyond just the initial news flash. We need to understand the immense seismic forces involved, sure,
Yeah.
but also the specific things on the ground, the vulnerabilities that turn what is a natural hazard into, well, a profound humanitarian crisis time and time again in that region. It's a pattern, really.
Okay, let's start with the event itself. What actually happened? We're talking a powerful 6.3 magnitude quake, the epicenter. That's the point right on the surface above the origin point deep down.
That's right. It was located near Jalalabad. That's in Nangarhar province. It's a very rugged, mountainous part of eastern Afghanistan.
Wow. Just imagining that force hitting such a region.
And the human cost, well, it's been truly awful. Initial reports were talking at least 250 deaths, over 400 injuries. But health officials were clear that because rescue operations are so difficult in those hard-to-reach places, that number, tragically, was expected to climb significantly.
A terrible situation. And it wasn't just the one shock, was it? There are aftershocks.
Yes, absolutely. The main tremor was followed by several aftershocks, including one measured at magnitude 4.7. And these, they don't just rattle nerves, they compound the damage to already weakened structures. They really hamper rescue efforts, too. Makes everything more dangerous.
And these tremors were felt quite far away, I heard, even in Pakistan.
That's right. They were powerful enough to be felt across the border in Pakistan, which really gives you a sense of the energy released.
Which really brings us to the core question. Why Afghanistan? Why is it such a hotspot for earthquakes?
It's a key point. Geographically, Afghanistan is one of the most seismically active places on the planet. Its location is right at this incredibly complex junction where several tectonic plates meet. Those giant slabs making up the Earth's crust.
Right, so it's caught in the middle of this geological action. It's in the Hindu Kush Mountains, isn't it? Part of that huge alpine Himalayan belt.
Precisely. And that entire belt is a major convergence zone. Specifically, you have the Indian plate pushing northwards, actively colliding with the Eurasian plate.
That sounds like, well, a recipe for earthquakes. Constant pressure building up.
It is. That continuous movement, that grinding and collision, results in frequent and sadly often deadly earthquakes. The country sits on top of numerous fault lines, the actual cracks where these plates interact. So seismic events aren't rare. They're a recurring natural hazard there.
Okay, so the ground itself is incredibly active.
Yeah.
But that's only part of the story, isn't it? The human side, the infrastructure. That plays a huge role in how devastating these quakes become.
It absolutely does. And this is where the natural hazard turns into a human catastrophe, as you said. The risk level is massively increased, primarily because of the common building methods, particularly in rural areas. Most homes are built using traditional materials, mud and stone.
Which just don't hold up well in an earthquake, I imagine.
Not at all. They're highly susceptible to collapse, very brittle. And this fragile infrastructure, it's the direct reason why you see such high casualty numbers, even from earthquakes that might be considered only moderately strong elsewhere.
It's that terrible combination, then. The active geology and buildings that just aren't designed to withstand it.
Exactly. This latest event just throws Afghanistan's extreme vulnerability into sharp relief again. And it highlights the massive challenge for disaster management, dealing with the scale of the humanitarian impact. If you step back and look at the bigger picture, what we see is this unique, very active geology combined with vulnerable rural building practices. It creates this persistent, tragic cycle of disaster. It has a profound, ongoing impact on the population. The real tragedy isn't just the quake itself, it's how instability and lack of resources mean basic physics turns deadly in ways that, frankly, modern engineering could often prevent.
So, thinking about this for you, our listener, what's the key takeaway? It seems really clear that understanding this complex interplay, the geology, the building methods, the humanitarian needs, it's absolutely vital for getting a full picture of global challenges, especially important for current affairs or exam contexts, which leaves us with a really tough question, doesn't it, for Afghanistan and maybe for the global community too. How can a nation in such a seismically volatile place, already facing so many internal hurdles, actually build the kind of resilient infrastructure and preparedness systems its people desperately need? How do you break that cycle of vulnerability? What sustainable solutions could genuinely offer protection when the ground inevitably shakes again?